Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the bug with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two dumb Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 776 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. I want to say to everybody this morning, welcome back. Michael, how you doing, man?
Oh, not doing good, brother.
You look like you're missing part of your face. Unfortunately, it looks like it's almost like looking at you naked.
Yeah. I once saw my favorite lot lizard, Cinnamon. She slithered away with my shades, brother. Don't know how I'm getting them back.
It's going to be weird looking at you all day with having to look at your face.
I know, man. I know. It's a sad day here at the Two Dumb Yinzers, but we're going to soldier through, brother. We're going to soldier through.
Good morning, Aaron. Aaron on the board. Always great to hear Aaron. Aaron Jade. Aaron says, here we go, Steelers. Big week, guys. This is camp week. No two ways about it. The season is this close. It's this close. Steelers got to start. They'll be showing up in Latrobe on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, camp will start. And then 10 days from now, we're going to be watching the Hall of Fame game between the Detroit Lions and I don't know who they play.
I can't remember. Let me take a look here.
I think it's the Rams. Is it the Rams?
I think so.
But nonetheless, it's going to be football, NFL football on our TV. I can't wait. It went really fast, Mike. It seems like almost yesterday that we just watched Philadelphia beat Kansas City in the Super Bowl. But here we are just days away, 2 days till the guys start showing up to camp again at Latrobe College in St. Vincent on Wednesday. And then they'll be starting camp Thursday. We'll have Derpy in the house. The end of next week, we'll be at camp, live at camp reporting. I can't wait to see him out there. I'll get more into that little Derpy here in a little bit. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to Corey. Corey says, how's it going, guys? I can't wait to talk Steelers today on this rainy Monday. And Tortilla says, and I do want to say good morning to Corey and Tortilla. Tortilla also says, they're saying we brought out the Great Depression uniforms. I was hoping for the 2008 throwbacks. Yeah, Tortilla, and I'm going to be honest with you. I was a kid. Whenever they had worn these last back in 93. And I hated it back then. It was such an ugly uniform. But now, 32 years later, I appreciate it because probably I haven't seen it since 1993, but they did make the announcement this morning about the alternate uniforms the Steelers are going to wear this year, and they are the same uniforms they wore back in '93 with the crest, the Pittsburgh crest, and the mud brown pants. And I mean, it's actually an ugly uniform, but at the end of the day, if you're a Steeler fan, it ends out not being that bad. You get used to it. Again, I miss it after 32 years. It's going to be fun seeing that, but that announcement was made this morning. That will be the throwback uniforms they'll be going with. And I do believe I also saw that they will be wearing the gold helmet with the throwback crest uniforms. So it's, you know what, it's not quite as ugly as the Bumblebee, but it's up there.
Yeah, they're up there being pretty ugly, but I kind of like them. I don't know why. I saw them and like I can dig it. I know a lot of people wanted like an all white uniform. I thought that was too color rushy, but this one right here, I like it. I like that old nasty uniform look. You know, I don't know. I think I like it. I like it. It's not going to be no Pittsburgh Penguin powder blue. People are going to like that, but this one here, it's all right. It's all right.
You know what? The thing is, I do like it. That's why I wanted to preface it by saying I like it more now, and I appreciate it, and it brings something back to me back from the early '90s. There it is, and you can see up on Mike's screen on the left-hand side, up on the left shoulder, there's the crest of Pittsburgh. It almost has a royalty look to it. It certainly did back then. This one is slightly different as I'm looking at it. Nonetheless, it's very similar. But there it is, guys. Look at those khakis. I think I even see somebody in the comments have the khaki pants, but that's what it looks like, guys. I hope you have your Oshkosh or whatever. I don't know what. Mike, you're a retail guy. What's a good brand of khaki pants?
I don't know. I see a lot of people wearing Dickies, so maybe Dickies.
I knew Dickies. I was expecting something a little deeper than that.
That's all I got, brother.
All right.
We got some Dickies. Some Carhartts.
Calvin Klein. I don't know. I don't go by me when it comes to clothes. But good morning, everybody. I do want to say good morning to everybody. A big weekend here in Pittsburgh. Of course, another major letdown across the parking lot over at PNC Park. Get into that a little bit later. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to talk about these guys all that often anymore. Steelers season, and they worked their way out of the cycle. So I do just want to throw that out there that they had a disaster of a weekend, which is actually hilarious if you do stick around and listen to that segment. Pirates later on, guys. Also, the Pittsburgh Passion, our gals, Mike, my favorite team in Pittsburgh, the ladies. Jana Meister wins Offensive Player of the Year, and D. Harris wins Defensive Player of the Year, both in the WFA, both in the Pittsburgh Passion. Both of these girls, highly talented. I still don't know how Chavez, Kai Chavez didn't make her way, but maybe they didn't announce the MVP of the league yet.
Yeah. Like if she's not MVP of the league, there's something wrong again. She was just dynamic from beginning to end.
And finally, outside of the Pittsburgh Steelers, last thing, the other football team here in town, Mike, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, of course, our soccer team, they play to a 0-0 draw with Detroit City. They'll be playing next on Friday against Portland Hearts of Pine. Mike. Pittsburgh Riverhound on Friday at 6:30.
If that isn't a minor league soccer name, I don't know what is.
But everybody, this is camp week. It's camp week. It started rough. I got to be honest with you. There was what they call Yinzer Palooza. And again, I'm not going to get into the Pirates just yet, but they managed to mess up the whole Yinzer Palooza event this weekend from top to bottom. As a matter of fact, I hear there's rumors of Ben Cherington might get the axe today. I don't know how true this is, but I've seen it on multiple sources, so we'll keep up on that. And then also, Mike, Wiz Khalifa. Wiz Khalifa was in town the other night for a big concert. Would have been a good show to go to.
Yeah, well, like you said, brother, the Buccos, they ruined it, man. They could ruin a wet dream. That's how bad they are.
Hometown boy Wiz Khalifa coming back home for a concert on Saturday night. A lot of good times I hear from what I see on Facebook. And a lot of people got pulled over. I guess they were just pulling random people over. And that would be a bad concert to get pulled over after.
Yeah, that sounds like targeted harassment there, where they know you're coming out. That's like, targeting the guys coming out of the Kenny Chesney concert. Yeah. You're getting your DUI and you're getting your weed numbers right there that weekend, brother.
John says Chargers. Rob, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Great to see Rob. Rob says, what's everyone's thoughts on the throwbacks? I like them, but I'm old. Don't go by me. I like them because I remember them. That's the only reason that I like them.
Right.
If I wasn't, aware in 1993, but I was 15 years old. I could certainly think back and appreciate them, but there might be people that are younger that don't like them, and maybe other people don't as well. But my opinion is I like them. I welcome them back. I've been wondering, Mike, where they've been actually.
Yeah, I like the jersey. I like that old timey look.
Corey Beaver says tortilla. Those unis look so much better if they gave the black pants instead of those ugly ass khakis. There it is, looking like Jake from State Farm. That's what I was thinking about, Mike. The khakis that Jake from State Farm wears.
Hey man, we got you covered, brother.
Jen, good morning. Always great to see Jen. Jen says the Steelers are back this week, baby. That's right, guys. Just 2 days from now, they'll be showing up in St. Vincent College in Latrobe. Thursday, kicking off camp. Next 10 days from today, guys, the Hall of Fame game. Next weekend, Derpy will be going to camp. It's like, remember those Ernest goes to camp and Ernest goes to jail? And we should have Ernest, Derpy goes to camp and do a whole segment with that. Just following him around.
Oh, God. Hell yeah, brother.
He could wear his Superman cape, that thing, that cape he wears everywhere.
Get all the guys, like we talked about on Friday, man. He can get up that roped off area.
Well, that's what I want. I want him in the roped up area, and then I want him to be able to like we'll instruct him on what to say. You know, I want him to yell out the players and just yell random shit. We got to have control of the whole situation for this.
We have to. We can't let Derpy go rover on that. No. He does not have the Troy Polamalu green light to freelance.
John says he doesn't care what they wear. He says he's just ready to win, baby.
Hell yeah.
That's what it's all about, for sure. Good morning, John, on the board. Also, Aaron says, how do you know the Steelers start? How you know the Steelers start training camp every year right around on my birthday? That's how you know I was born to bleed black and gold. Well, hey, man, I'm not sure when your birthday is, but happy birthday to you.
Hell yeah, bro. He's black and gold through and through.
He says, black and gold till I'm dead and cold. I like it.
You know, his parents timed up that conception.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, hell yeah.
And they did it right. You know what I mean? They didn't do it during season, and they were responsible.
Pop them out right before training camp, man.
I really appreciate Aaron's parents' responsibility. Tortilla says, I can see them looking really good at nighttime game, but in the sun, they could look as ugly as hell. I don't hate them, though. That's how I feel about Mike.
That's fair.
Corey says, Tortilla, I'm a stickler for matching the khaki, and the yellow just looks like they got dressed in the dark.
Yeah.
Tortilla, Corey, they look like a lemon cake. Tortilla follows it up by saying, if it's a primetime game and I'm drinking, I think they'll look great. But if it's the first thing in the morning and I see these jerseys, I'm going to spit my vodka out. Again, sounds like I'm working with Mike. And again, you know what? We got that early-ass game in Ireland. You know, we'll be getting up at 9 in the morning around week 4 to watch the Steelers play the Vikings. Just who knows? I'm sure they won't wear it that game. But that could be a good example of what you're talking about, Tortilla. Jen says my granddaughter was trying to steal my Two Dumb Yinzers sweatshirt because of how soft and comfy it is, just like Mike. There you go. That Mike, see, I threw it back.
I'm all through the comments, brother.
You know, just shows you that I'm just not talking down. That was a compliment.
I appreciate it.
Christophus, my man, back on the board. Always great seeing Christophus on the board. He says, can't wait till the pads go on and separate the men from the boys. Latrobe will light. I will be there for that. Hope to see you guys then. Man, brother, I can't wait. Christophus, this is, you know, I just got, you know, when I was reading his post, I just got goosebumps. Wednesday, guys, they're back. They're signing in. They're getting to their dorm and ready to go. And again, Thursday, back at it. Christophus, great comment. Hope to see you there, sir. Tortilla says we should have used the jerseys from Batman: The Dark Knight Rises when Bane blows up the Heinz Field. You know what?
Those were some sick jerseys, man.
I dig that, and you know why? Because Bane was such a terrible bad guy, and I mean that's why they're probably not going to do it, because Bane was a terrible bad guy. If they had a good bad guy, somebody that was you know, people would go see like the Joker or something like this. But probably because Bane was the worst bad guy ever. And don't go by me again. I'm not a superhero guy, but I know when the bad guy talks like this, it's not good. That's all I got to say. I know that Bane talked like this, and it pushed me away early. But nonetheless, it was in Pittsburgh, and there was a lot of Pittsburgh in this movie, so it's one of my favorite. But Mike, I don't know. Would you say that's the worst bad guy?
Yeah.
In superhero movies?
Yeah, Bane was retired. Oh, I'm big and strong. Oh, okay.
And for one, nobody's ever heard of Bane. I mean, maybe if you're into comic books, but
yeah,
you've heard of all these other guys. You've heard of the Joker.
Because I did not like any of those Batman movies. Of those 3 movies, I thought they were all terrible Batman and just terrible movies in general. Wasted a lot of good actors and directors.
I'm just not into the superhero movies, but I can appreciate it, I guess.
And everyone goes on and on about Heath Ledger. He played Brad Pitt's characters from Fight Club with some face paint on. That's all he did, and it was terrible. Terrible.
But like I said, if it was the Joker or the Penguin invading Heinz Field, maybe they would use those uniforms. But since Bane was such a bad guy, I'm guessing that's why. that's my hypothesis. Aaron Jade, he says, "Oh man, we appreciate you, man." He says,
Hell
"The show's
yeah,
amazing."
man. Hell yeah, brother.
Greatly appreciated as always. Feel the Steel says, good day, Monday to you, Yinzers. Good morning, Feel the Steel. What's up, brother? Always great seeing Phil on the board. We knew Phil would be back strong whenever the Steelers were on their way back in. We've been expecting you. Come on in. Phil the Steel also says, who's the new dumb Yinzers, fellas? We're still working on that. We'll get into that contest here a little bit more as the show goes on. Omar Tortilla says Omar Khan was in that movie next to Big Ben.
Yeah. Was
so many Steelers. That was such a great movie.
Heinz Ward was.
It was such. I just got done saying how terrible of a movie it was. It was such a great movie.
That was the only good part of the movie, brother.
Yeah, I mean, seeing Coach in there and seeing Ben and Heinz and
Heinz returning taking a kick for a touchdown.
I mean, it was great. Now the movie's great.
Now what was Danny Smith on the sideline though? That's what I need to know.
Corey says, I saw a video this morning from the All Steelers talk, and Noah said that there were talks of trading Calvin Austin III for Jennings. That would be such a major setback for us. We'd lose a PR punt returner for low-end talent. I heard about a million things. I got to be honest with you, Corey. This morning, I heard that we're putting Jonnu Smith out at wide receiver, and we're looking at just getting a safety. And don't sleep on him because they might go out and get Amari Cooper. And so I don't know, Mike. I'm still to this point just a few days up till camp starts. The rumors still swirl. We don't know what's going on in some of these situations. Obviously, we would like to see another safety be signed, and we would also like to see a wide receiver 2 signed. Whether that happens or not, I think you hit a good point earlier, Mike, or the other day when you were saying that they're probably going to start camp up and take a look at some of these guys first. Let's get a look at Roman, who, it's worth taking a look at, and a few of these other options, and then, continue to still look. I mean, is Tyler Boyd still going to be sitting around out there in free agency in 2 weeks? More than likely. Is Amari Cooper still going to be sitting out there in free agency? More than likely. So I think that Mike hit that on the head. They're where they want to be, in these last few pieces might be picked up over the next couple of weeks, depending on what they're seeing at camp and making their decisions from there. Certainly by the timeline, that looks like it is probably the situation from here on out. But Mike, from all the moves they made to this point and everything they did to improve, I could see them making one more move. They have the money. Why sit on your hands at this point and play with what you got if you could go out and get a little bit more talent, especially if you got the cash to spend? Yeah,
if you got the cash to spend, you have to go out and add to the roster. Like you said, another safety, preferably like a starter caliber safety. If not, get a high-end backup. Cool. And, maybe another wide receiver. Like you said, like I said last week, they probably want to see who they have in camp, who's going to rise to the occasion, because that's why you drafted these guys. Who can move up, on your depth chart and wow you and surprise you and take over that spot. If you don't have to go out and get a vet, you don't have to go out and get a vet. You got your guy on your team already. But, it's a long process still. You don't know what guys on other teams might be getting cut, might be on the trade block. I don't think Jawan Jennings is going to be on the move because Brandon Ayuk's coming back from an injury that not a lot of people have come back successfully from.
Can I cut you off for just 1 second? Because I have a comment on that. God, did we miss a bullet with this Brandon Ayuk?
Yeah.
Last year, if we would have got him, he would be our injury problem right now.
Yeah.
This guy's been nothing but ever since that talk last year, Mike, we dodged a bullet there.
Yeah. Exactly. We got lucky right there. Ricky Parasol, he's still on the I don't know if he's on the pup list.
Yes, they're both on the pup list.
Yeah. So, they need Jennings. So I don't think they're going to trade him. They'll figure out a contract with him. There's plenty of teams that have a lot of wide receiver depth, like the Texans, the Packers have a lot of depth. You're probably looking at those teams trading some lower round draft picks for guys out of there, or kicking the tires on a Gabe Davis again, on a Amari Cooper again. Cooper is like the guy I would want. I think he would fit well here. He didn't. People want to say he was a locker room cancer in Cleveland, but that wasn't until last year when that team completely imploded and he vented his frustrations. So I'd be okay with him coming here, or roll with what we got and see what we got.
I heard that Washington give Scary Terry a little bit of a leash here and is allowing him to talk to some other teams and get some. The one that scares me a little bit. They were saying, what if he lands in Dallas? Scary Terry, CD, and George Pickens. Could you imagine that trio of receivers?
There's not a lot of footballs to go around down there.
And Dak Prescott would have plenty to throw to, but let's just hope that that's not the case. Let's jump back on the board, Mike, to see what we got coming in. I'm going to go right here to Tortilla. Tortilla says, All Steeler Talk is one of the worst Steelers channels, not going to lie, respectfully. Christopher says, I want to see Broderick Jones versus TJ and Alex Highsmith. Get them prepared for the season. Yeah, they you know what? Yeah, me too. Tortilla says, I've tried. Listen. Corey says, that's insane. Pat would make more sense than at wide receiver 2 or 3 than Jonnu. John says, on the media has this time of year's rumors. Got to keep folks engaged, even if it's BS. I'm sorry. Corey says, Tortilla, I agree to a degree. It's Monday morning, man. Come on. I agree to a degree. His takes are mostly clickbait, but it is an insider close to the team, so he gets breaking news immediately before a lot of other channels outside of PMS and Kabuli and Mac. And Tortilla follows that up by saying, Corey couldn't have said it any better. I've heard other channels talk about it, Noah and his connections. I just can't stand his takes. He looks at football like it's Madden. But, guys, a lot of things going on. I'm going to get into something that I seen at the beginning of the weekend that I'm going to be honest with you. I don't understand, and maybe you guys on the board, Mike, can help me understand this a little bit. But last week they had these votes to see who's the best this, who's the best that in the league.
Yeah.
Now, maybe I read it wrong. Mike, please. What is this? Cam Hayward is the second best player in the NFL. Who's this according to?
Was this what, PFN?
PFN or one? Now, listen, of course, this isn't a highly touted source, but nonetheless, who in their right mind would say that Cam Hayward is the number 2 best player in the whole entire NFL? People are sitting here saying, "Is he joking? Is this
No, this is not a joke. I pulled up their list right now.
And there's more to it. I'm going to get to more in the list, Mike. So don't go too deeply into it, but just confirm that it has Cam Hayward the number 2. I just need some confirmation.
It has Cam Hayward number 2 in the league.
Again, what is this through? Who is it?
PFSN, Pro Football Network.
But there you go, guys. If anybody could tell me what that's all about, Mike, even if you can help me out a little bit. And like I said at first, I thought it was a goof. This can't be real. I mean, there's a million players in this league better than Cam Hayward. And I might just even pass on it without even talking about it that much. I'm not seem to gain any interest, but for some reason, this caught my eye. And Cam Hayward, the second best player in the league.
The Sexy Dexy ranking in at 93.
That's what I'm saying. Come on. More ridiculous things about this list, Mike. It has Garrett topping. Maybe this is a different list. I don't know, but it has a Myles Garrett topping TJ again.
It does.
For the number 1 edge rusher. Well, all the numbers point to TJ Watt, which makes it even more confusing, right?
Yes.
I mean, TJ Watt, he has tied, of course, with Michael Strahan with the 22.5 sacks, single season record. All the numbers. It feels still exactly. That's kind of where I'm leaning toward as well. He says, never heard of PFN. So, yeah. So, but guys, TJ, we went through them last week, all the numbers between TJ Watt and Myles Garrett. And, of course, TJ Watts were all better than Myles Garrett to this point in her career. We went over this list multiple times on the show. Now I'm also reading that let's see. TJ averages 0.89 sacks per game for his career. No player with at least 50 games in their career has more. Every number, every statistic, everything in the world would say that TJ Watt's the better player, but for some reason they always hand it to Myles Garrett.
Do you know where they have TJ Watt ranked?
Who?
They have him ranked number 27 overall.
That's what. Who does these? Were they at the Wiz Khalifa concert? I want to know.
I think they might have been at the Wiz Khalifa concert.
Let me get a little bit more into this one. Myles Garrett never led the NFL in sacks, and in 7 years has been in the top 5 in sacks just 3 of the 7 years. But yet they'll continue to say he is the better player. Of course, Watt makes more money. He has better numbers. But at the end of the day, I don't know who these people are, but they are saying that Myles Garrett is better than TJ Watt. Once again, Mike, what do you think?
Well, because he has all those I scared the quarterback plays. I scared the quarterback. I pressured him. I didn't sack him, but I pressured him.
Also, Mike, there was another thing where Cam, I'm looking in the Cam was number 4 in the AP voting of NFL top interior lineman, which I don't even have him at number 4 if I'm thinking of just the lineman alone. So I don't know. I don't know what kind of drugs these people are on, but we need them.
Do you want to hear this place's top 5?
Please.
Number 5, Myles Garrett. Number 4, Josh Allen. Okay, that makes sense. Reigning MVP.
Josh Allen's below Myles Garrett.
No, Myles Garrett's number 5. Myles Garrett's number 5.
Above
Josh
him.
Allen's number 4. Number 3, Chris Jones. You got a D tackle over here. Okay, above a quarterback. Okay. Number 2, our boy Cam Hayward, best defensive tackle in the league, according to them. And the number 1 player, Lamar Jackson. 2-time MVP. You can make an argument for top 5 for Lamar, but number 1, no. Number 1, it's got to be Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Lamar can have it. All should be in the top 5 right there. Then after that, you can start guys. But Cam Hayward, number 2 overall in the league. I'm glad he's on my team. He had a hell of a year last year. He bounced back, but no, number 2 overall. Get out of here. Get out of here. If he's if TJ Watt is like number 27, number 25, how the hell is Cam Hayward number 2?
That's what I'm saying.
And TJ Watt had a bigger impact on the defense than Cam Hayward. But I'm glad both those guys are on my team, especially lining up right next to each other. But come on, get the hell out of here. Let's be realistic with our rankings. That's all I ask for.
All right, let's get back to the board, Mike. I'm going to try to find where we were at. Right here. John says Noah is a pencil neck geek, beta boy. Steel says never heard of PFN. No, me neither, man. And I hope I never hear from him again. I'm gonna be honest. What a dumb list.
I use some of their stuff for our off-season draft talk because they had some good draft stuff. But this stuff right here, oh my god, they might be getting the boot.
Christopher is saying I'm feeling that wide receiver 2 will be Chris Olave or Romeo Doubs, but I would be cool with a healthy Gabe Davis. Corey says PFN and PFF are jokes. That's what I've said from the beginning. I've always thought that even the PFF as it's gaining momentum, I still thought, man, I've never been a fan of PFF.
No, never.
Rankings that don't provide statistical evidence or just a room full of fanboys who voted based off of feelings and not facts. Pretty much, man. John says if TJ kicked ass in the postseason, many of the naysayers wouldn't have an argument. And, the thing is, if Myles Garrett was just tearing it up and they were in the playoffs all the time, then I could see it. But again, what they do, they have 1 playoff win. And I don't know if that's enough to base on your edge rusher to give them this vote to always be the best pass rusher in the league. I don't understand what this love affair with Myles Garrett is. I just don't. it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially since all of TJ Watt's numbers, which is what you go by, are better than Myles Garrett. There's not much that points that and maybe if you're saying, as we were saying last week, you watch the game and you kind of feel that, he gives a little bit more. There's a little bit more impact when he's in the game. But at the end of the day, it doesn't show up on the stat sheet,
Exactly. All of his stuff is like, analytics based for Myles Garrett. His get off rate, his pass rush win rate. Okay, but that doesn't translate to sacks or tackles, obviously.
And, in a playoff win's a team effort. So, I mean, again, you take Myles Garrett's one playoff win.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to put you above the guy that you're.
Yeah.
What a dumb thing. Tortilla says Cam Hayward must have been in the room when the list was made. Someone was scared for their life when they made the list. Feel the Steel says to all the Steeler Nation on here, just a reminder, feel the steel, feel the steel, feel the steel is our black and gold fan club chant every time Steelers defense make a big play, interception, sack, or fumble. I like it. So there you go, man. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. John says the NFL awards pressures over sacks. It wants to protect starting quarterbacks. Sticky B, one of my favorite names ever on the board. Mm-hmm. Sticky B says, do you think part of the Garrett bias is because he was such a high draft pick and Watt was 30? You know what? If it is, that's stupid. Because, Tom Brady was drafted in the 6th round. Shouldn't he be rated in that thought process a lot lower than basically every other quarterback who's in the greats? Peyton Manning, who was drafted pretty high? I don't remember if he was first or not.
Number one, baby.
So, I mean, wouldn't he be considered high or better? But you know what? Maybe that could possibly have something to do with it. As stupid as it would be, I could see that. Again, I mean, his numbers are literally lower than TJ's in everything. But at the end of the day, the other guy gets the nod. I don't know. It doesn't make much sense, but that is what it is. What else is going on around the world and football world, Mike? Again, camp. The guys are showing up on Wednesday up at the Trobe, kicking it off on Thursday, getting this year's football camp started in just 10 days. Guys, we're just 10 days away from the NFL Hall of Fame game. The Detroit Lions and I want to say the Rams. Mike, am I
the Chargers?
The Chargers.
Yep.
And you know what? That's why John randomly said Chargers on the board earlier, and that makes a lot of sense now. Let's see. What else do we got, Michael? What else do we got? So yeah, from the last thing I'm hearing, the thing that I heard this morning, some of the latest rumors were that they were thinking about putting Jonnu Smith out at wide receiver 2. My thing is I'm not real familiar with Jonnu Smith. I didn't pay much attention to the Dolphins last year. I know he's good. I look at his numbers and everything. But is this something we could pull off, Mike? Can Jonnu Smith be a number 2 receiver? And if so, why? Why are we not looking at some of these other names that are popping up? I see some pretty fantastic names coming up on the board today. What'd be the reason if that ends up being what we do, going and putting Jonnu Smith at wide receiver 2?
Yeah, he's not a true wide receiver out there. So he's a
tight end.
He's a tight end. He doesn't have the route running ability of what you want from like a true number 2 outside wide receiver. But he can line up outside in those formations to cause matchup problems. And you'll see him out there, but he won't be out there every single snap out there. Because in Miami, they moved him around from inline, in slot, and out wide. And I have a feeling that's what Arthur Smith will do, because he likes to run a lot of 2-3 tight end sets. You can line those guys up anywhere. So then you can start moving around your Calvin Austins and your Roman Wilsons. They have them in advantageous spots as well. So I think that's what's going to happen with John. He'll occasionally line up as that out wide receiver with a DK Metcalf on the other side. That's just going to be the cause matchup issues for other guys.
It's going to be interesting because, again, here we are. We're getting down to it. Camp is just 2 days away, and we don't really have a legit number 2 wide receiver. So, I mean, that is an option. And again, of course, I mean, as we talked about earlier in the show, the rumors are swirling at this point. So who knows? There are all these names that we've seen along the way on the board. Alave, Dalbs, the whole way down the list. We've heard them all. Amari Cooper is another name that I keep hearing about. even Tyler Boyd. And I think worst case scenario, bring in Tyler Boyd. He's a hometown guy. You could probably get him on the cheap. And, yes, he's up there. But I got to be honest with you. With this particular team, it's kind of what we're seeing is just a patch, put patches here, put patches there. Get as many good players as you can. Stick them on the wall and see what sticks. Who knows? I think that this season should turn out well, Mike. Again, you add this much talent through the course of a season. You'd hope it ends up a little bit better than it went last year. 10-7, we finished. However, we were 10-3 after just 13 games before we hit that slide of losing the last 4 to finish the season and last 5 combined after losing in the playoffs. So, if you can improve on that and not have that major late season meltdown. But we got good teams on the schedule again, Mike. We'll look at the schedule a little bit later, but it seems to me things should be better this year in theory. I mean, we have better players, I would think, right?
Yeah, we have better players. I know everyone's great, but the coaching. Well, with better players, we've seen what this coaching staff was able to do with better players. So they were able to make some runs. So hopefully that will continue there. But yeah, I like this roster a whole hell of a lot better than I like last year's roster. And I don't foresee a 5-game losing streak with this team. I still think we're going to have our typical, we should have won that game. But I think we're also going to have typicals, how did we win that game? We should have won. So it balances out there. I'm still saying we're going to win at least 11 games this year. I think this team is just better. The roster construction is so much better this year than last year's team.
One thing I think is going to be a big game changer this year is the amount of veteran players in our secondary now.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. You lose Minka. But, you're bringing in Jalen Ramsey, who's pretty much one of the top 5 DBs every year. And then you also bring in Slay. This guy just won a Super Bowl. So, you got to like the veteran leadership that's coming into the secondary. We all know there's still kind of sort of this hole in the middle of the secondary trying to fill that space or that spot for Minka Fitzpatrick. Of course, Simmons is a name that comes up. And who's the other guy, Mike, from over in Indianapolis you like?
Blackman.
So, there's some names still floating around out there. And I wouldn't surprise me if we did grab one of these guys. But I feel really good. I feel a lot better about the secondary, Mike. Of course, Joey Porter coming back in his 3rd season. We expect to see big things from him. Also, Beanie Bishop, who had a big rookie season last year, the undrafted Beanie Bishop. Corey Trice. We're still, everyone wants to get a look at him. That he's a long, rangy cornerback. So, I feel a lot more confident in the secondary this year. And that's such a big thing in the NFL because it is a passing league.
Yeah.
And if you could, if you got a good secondary, you could hang. You could hang in a lot of games where, where a lot of games where we just seen our secondary getting picked apart in times that mattered. And I'd like to see that change. And also, Mike, I think that has a different effect because now your linebackers could play different. Your defensive line has a different game plan strategy going into the game. So you just feel that this has to be better. I would be very surprised if this team comes out and shits the bed and doesn't have a season at least as good as last year and a little bit better, Mike. I'm thinking you don't know what to expect, but you have to think we're considered, further along to win a playoff game than we've been in quite a few years.
Yeah, and we also brought in Brandon Eccles. He can play slot. He made some key plays last year for the Jets, and so that can allow if he or Beanie Bishop wrestles that. Shows that they can handle the nickel spot. That allows Jalen Ramsey to roam around that secondary, playing out wide, playing in the slot, playing deep in the secondary. So if those two can step up, now you have Jalen Ramsey as a chess piece that you can just move around the board wherever you want. And like you were saying, the longer that these guys can stay in coverage on their receiver, that's going to give that front 7 even more time. And then that front 7 getting beefed up this year, hopefully with Derek Harmon coming in and providing more pressure than what we got at Larry O. That's going to feed guys to block him more, Cam more. That's going to free up TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. And now they, with all these guys healthy and having a full offseason to where they can start moving these guys around in their blitz packages, lining up Watt on the inside, which they did a little bit last year, early in the season, that paid dividends. You can start swapping these guys around, and you're going to confuse that front, and then your secondary is better too, so you're going to be making splash plays at either end, should be at a higher clip than what we saw last year, because you improved both the front and the back end of the defense, and they're just going to feed off of each other. And I think they're going to play a lot more man this year than we've seen in the past couple years.
Let me blow a little more smoke up their ass.
So why not keep blowing
they
that
have
smoke,
all
baby.
this defensive, like I said, Derek Harmon up front now.
Yeah.
Cam coming off the year that he had. Of course, Keanu Benton is the one that I'm not thrilled with, but the linebacking core from top to bottom is a strong linebacking core.
Yeah.
I would argue it's probably one of the better linebacking cores in the whole league. We talked about the secondary. Then come back over to the offense. The offensive line, they've had another season to gel together.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a season to get healthy. Troy Fatano, our number one draft pick last season, he's going to finally be back.
Yeah.
So another season together, another season healthy. You like that aspect for as far as the offensive line goes. You got 36 tight ends. We're never going to have any tight end issues on this squad. You bring in Aaron Rodgers, and he is the X factor. Is this guy's still going to be able to see what he's always seen when he steps up to the line pre-snap? Is this guy going to be able to, the guy is a smart football player, no two ways about it. That's why he is what he is and who he is. And, the running backs, you have Jalen Warren, who you knew was going to be the next step in progression that, once Najee was gone, it was going to be Jalen, and I'm comfortable with that. And then the guy taking Jalen's role, I'm very comfortable with, and I can't wait to see play is Caleb Johnson. Also adding Kenneth Gainwell,
right?
A nice third down back, a nice Super Bowl winning third down back that just came over from Philadelphia this offseason, guys. So there are plenty of reasons to feel optimistic. And while I'm blowing smoke up their ass, you got Cam Johnston's back, the punter. He's one of the best punters ever, Mike, statistically. He got hurt last year. He was out all season. So now you have your original punter. I'm happy about that. And you have Chris Boswell coming back, of course, one of the best field goal kickers in the league, hands down. So there's so much to feel optimistic about with this football team. And again, with all those things that I just said, remind you guys that we were 10-3 after 13 games last year. 10-3. So no matter how bad that finished out, and it was, these 4 games in the regular season, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Kansas City, Cincinnati, and then again, Baltimore in the playoffs, those are 5 tough teams. So take the team that we were sitting there at 10-3. We were arm's length from the number 1 seed at that point. And then it all fell apart. So you bring in these players hoping to find ways to win, those kind of games, Baltimore games, Philadelphia games, Kansas City type games. And we got a couple of them this year. We got Detroit, we got Buffalo. So it's no shortage of tough teams this year on our schedule. So I think that's a good reason to feel optimistic, Mike, because we went out and made all these adjustments. We made all these upgrades. We got some of these big name players for a couple seasons now. Guys are settling. Hey, we're Steelers. We're feeling the Steeler vibe. We're part of this thing. Jonnu Smith is really taken to it. I'm glad to be part of something special, something along the lines he says. So, you got to like the attitude. You got to like the personality coming into the season. And like I said, Mike, we went out shopping a lot. We brought in a lot of talent to make our team better than we were last year when we fell apart at 10-3. Again, you're going to run into those tough games. No two ways about it. You're always going to get Baltimore twice a year. So, again, that's always going to be, that's that. You don't know what Cincinnati's going to look like coming in, but, they could certainly throw the ball 500 yards a game. I mean, they just do. So that's going to be good. Buffalo's going to be a tough game. No two ways about that one. Detroit and even the rest of that division. I'm going to be honest with you. Green Bay was looking good last year, making the playoffs. And then even Minnesota, starting J.J. McCarthy this year, a little bit different of a look. Nonetheless, they still have a lot of weapons to go to. They didn't lose the weapon. So if he could get the ball in the hands of the Addisons and Jeffersons and guys like this, Minnesota should be a good game in Ireland. Just adds more to it. So, Mike, if we could be better than that team that was 10-3, that hit that slide and lost 5 in a row, which I think that we are. I think by talent, looking around the roster, we're definitely better than the team we were last year. And not to mention, our quarterback could see over the line.
Right.
So, come on, that stands for something, right?
Oh, yeah. You have a quarterback that can use the entirety of the field without having to move around the pocket to use the entirety of the field. That's the key thing right there. And he can still make all the throws. I'm very optimistic on this team because why not? It's the offseason. Why be a fan if you can't be optimistic during the offseason? I like the moves that they did. I see the vision. I see the plan of how they want to move this team forward. I can see how the offense wants to operate and the defense wants to operate. And I don't think it's going to be a conservative team. I think there are going to be more blitzes. Maybe not to the extent of like the exotic blitzes we always saw under Dick LeBeau, but I think we're going to see a lot more blitzing out of that front seven than we did last year. The offense, like they said, they did not bring in Aaron Rodgers to just run the ball. I think they're going to use the run to help set up the pass and kill games late, but they're going to find ways to fool teams to think they're going to run and hit play action. That's a big key of Arthur Smith's offense is the play action. And, you establish that run early, you get those teams start bringing safeties in. Next thing you know, you're hitting guys over the top. Then they have to back off, and you're hitting quick slants to DK Metcalf, who can take those to the house. You hit, Calvin Austin on quick slants, who can take those to the house. So, yeah, I envision this team is going to be fun to watch this year. It's going to be one of the most fun Steelers teams we have seen in a long time. Since pre-Ben blowing out his elbow, we're going to see an offense like that where I don't think they're going to put up 35, 40 points a game, but, 28, 30 points a game on average should be what they should be shooting for this year. Because you have a defense that's only going to really gave up, 20 points last year? You average 30 points on offense, only giving up 20 on defense. I'm no math guy. That sounds like a win to me.
Tortilla says TJ leads Garrett in almost every category. Also, the Browns are like 13-3 without Garrett. For the Steelers are just like 1-10. It's literally just bias against Steelers and TJ. Hey, Kenneth, what's up, brother? Kenneth says, hey, guys, on the board. Good morning to Kenneth. John said, I guess it's afternoon now here in Pittsburgh. John says the Steelers need wide receivers. Is that like Steelers need wide receivers who can get open quickly on the yak and get yak. Rodgers isn't holding on to the ball. Sticky B says maybe the Steelers are waiting for some of the heavy wide receiver teams to make their training camp cuts to scoop in one on the cheap. You know what? That's exactly what Mike, I think what you were referring to when we were talking off the air. Could certainly be an option. Feel the Steel without Watt. Without Watt, is no electricity in Pittsburgh. There's no electricity in Pittsburgh. Tortilla, I think Jonnu won't be the number 2 receiver in yards, but I do think he'll be number 1 or 2 in touchdowns. I don't know if he'll be officially our number 2 wide receiver, though. Kenneth says at some point we got to see what Austin and Wilson can really do before bringing. You know what? That's so true. We just automatically assume we're going to get better play if we bring in, Amari Cooper, we bring in Olave or whoever. But we brought these other guys here for a reason. Calvin Austin, of course, and whom else am I thinking?
Roman Wilson.
Roman Wilson. So at some point you're right. We do have to see these guys play, and maybe they would outplay these other guys that we're talking about bringing. We don't know. At this point, it really feels like we're trying to stack this team as much as we can, and that's kind of where I'm at. I'm game because we've never done this before.
Yeah.
This is a total not Steeler way of running things. The way Omar Khan has been running the ship the past 2 seasons, and you know what? I'm down. Let's take a look at how this goes. We went the other way for 50 years, playing off of all drafted teams, basically. I mean, and they always sit around wondering why does everybody get DK Metcalfs and why does everybody get guys like this? And now we're the team getting it. I'm in. I'm down. I want to see how this thing turns out.
And then you put onto the fact too that some of a lot of the guys that we have traded for, they're not just here for this year. DK signed for another 4 or 5. Jonnu Smith, Jalen Ramsey this year and next year as well. So they're not just trying to go all in this year to mortgage the future. They're building a team for this year, next year, and then to set it up for years down the line too. So this is smart team building. But it all has to pay off this year. This year is going to be the big. We put our foot down. Steelers are back, and we're ready to rock and roll into the future.
Mike, remember we were having the conversation the other day, and I don't remember if it was on the air or off, but somebody saying to you that the Steelers, we went through a period of time when the Steelers weren't relevant. And we said there's never been a time that the Steelers aren't relevant, even when we don't have the best team. Guess who everybody ends up talking about?
The Steelers.
That's right, baby. That's right. Back on the board, Corey says Tortilla, then I'm glad Garrett got the extension then. If TJ can win a Super Bowl, then Garrett can have the Defensive Player of the Year for all I care.
Exactly.
Tortilla says I won't be surprised if we wait until the trade deadline and get a mid-wide receiver again. Sticky B says who scores more TDs this season for the Steelers tight end room? Tight end room or the wide receiver room? That's a good question.
That is a good question. Right now, I'm leading towards the tight end room.
Depending on what they do finally about that wide receiver too. We'll see.
Yeah. depending on how the offense runs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phyllis Steele says, rub the head, Vanilla. Rub that baldy head. I like it. That's where all the good luck's going to come from this
Hell
year.
yeah, brother.
We'll all come by and just rub our balls across his vanilla head.
Oh, that's a negative there, brother.
Sean says, Mike, agree. It depends if they stop being conservative on both sides of the ball. It is way more than changing players. Ralph, what's up, brother? Ralph says, hello, guys. Always good to see Ralph on the board. Mark Malone, my man. How you been, Mark Malone? One of my favorite names. Again, because I'm old. Mark Malone says, we do have 3 legit tight ends right now. That's what I'm saying. We are in such a better place than we were last year. And we thought things were going to be better last year, Mike. And again, you can't really say 10-3 is not good. So, we hit this wall that teams, it's not abnormal that they hit at some point, especially when you play that caliber of games. Like, these teams were in the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
Philadelphia was one of them. They won the Super Bowl. Kansas City was another one of those last 4 games. They were in the Super Bowl. Baltimore, I mean, Baltimore's a give or take. We could have literally lost all 3 games last year if it wasn't for Justin Tucker's toe. But again, we could have also won a couple games against Baltimore. It always comes down to that Baltimore Steeler game. Throw everything else out the window. When those 2 teams play in between the lines, just let them go. You never know what's going to happen. Of course, the Steelers 8 wins against Baltimore in the last, starting in the last season. Big. Again, Mike, this is a superior team, a team that has an MVP caliber quarterback, a team that has all kind of things going on. We could certainly beat this Baltimore team any given weekend. And we certainly showed it against a Lamar Jackson-led Baltimore team. Mike, he generally doesn't have great success against the Steelers.
No, but it was time for that pendulum to start to swing their way. It's going to happen. You
win 8 straight games against the Ravens. It's not going to last.
No, especially with those 2 teams in the rivalry and how much they hate losing to you. They were going to find a way to win. It was only a matter of time. It sucked that it happened, and those last games showed that those teams that we played were the cream of the crop. Outside of the Bengals, were the cream of the crop. Complete teams from offense, defense, special teams, and it showed where we were lacking on our roster. And I think by the moves that the front office made, they recognized that and beefed up those areas where we were weak and kind of solidified some of the areas that we were already strong in. So yeah, it was like the team knows that, hey, we were close, but we weren't close enough, weren't good enough. So let's go out and bolster that roster.
Absolutely. And that's what we did, Mike. And that's what I always talked about, the coward teams. There was always an improvement. That's what I'm feeling here. 2 years ago, we had a squad. It wasn't working. We went out and got some free agents. We got the Patrick Queens. We brought in, of course, Justin Fields. We brought in Russell Wilson. And those things are certainly considered improvements by bringing in veteran players by free agency, which, again, the Steelers not historically don't do this. So this year they go in, they go 10-3. They end up losing the last 4 games, losing in the playoffs. So what do? You build your team to be a little bit better. You go in and find the holes, find the reasons of why things went the way they did, and you improve. You bring in free agents and fill those spots, which is exactly what we're doing. Again, something that we're not used to seeing as Steeler fans, but I got to be honest, I'm not complaining. I'm thrilled to see DK Metcalf here. I'm thrilled to see Jalen Ramsey and all these other guys. So at the end of the day, Mike, they are making those necessary moves to do what it is to get over the previous hump, whatever last year's issue was. Let's make the improvements. So next year when it comes around and we run into those games, we're going to be better equipped to handle those situations in those particular games. And that's what it seems like the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing. And I'm confident. Again, Mike, we should in theory be better than last year.
Oh yeah, a whole hell of a lot better than last year. I'm starting to fall into the Mark Malone bandwagon. I'm starting to inch my way up to 12 wins. The more we keep talking about this team, like the schedule doesn't scare me. I think we match up with any team in the NFL. I don't think we're going to get blown out in games this year. I think we can hang tough with the Lions, with the Bengals, with the Bills, with the 49ers, with the Chiefs of the NFL. I think we can hang with the cream of the crop. I don't know why I said the 49ers when I meant the Eagles. My mistake.
Sticky B says if we can limit the 3 and outs and keep the D fresh for fourth quarter, I think this team surprises people.
Hell yeah, brother.
You know what I think what I honestly say it comes down to, guys? The difference from this team being what we want it to be and the team that maybe the team that just falls short is the injury bug. We have to avoid the injury bug. We've gotten hit with the injury bug, Mike, every 5 years. Every year we got to hit with key players, with players that just you can't afford to lose. And this year, if we could avoid that injury bug, I think that's when you would see the potential of the team that we just built. And that's a big if. I mean, it's the NFL. You don't know play to play who's going to survive. And, you just pay a lot of people a lot of money. And let's say what? Guy makes mad money. You lose what? There's a whole bunch of money that isn't playing on the field. And so, again, the injury bug is the X factor, is the ultimate X factor, I think, in this football season for the Steelers. Avoid that injury bug. If they can avoid that, that gives you the best possible chance.
Yeah, keep Aaron Rodgers away from any sleds.
Yeah, please, by all means.
Oh, we don't need that.
He says, if we go back to Blitzburg, they can't double TJ.
Mm-hmm.
Kenneth says, Benton doesn't have the size to be a bull rush nose tackle, but watch the film. He batted down a lot of balls. And listen, I was big on Keanu Benton early. I remember when he first came out, Mike, I remember seeing plays he was making. I thought, well, he's kind of undersized, but he's really getting to the play, and he's really causing some disruption. I'd like to see him kind of get back to that.
Yeah, he needs to finish the plays. That's what D-line coach Dunbar was saying. He's like, he gets back there. He just got to finish once he gets into the backfield. And, guys were slipping out of his tackles, or he was just that. He'd get back there and just couldn't finish. Once he starts finishing consistently, teams are going to have to pay attention to him because he's a slippery little guy on that line too.
If he could have that kind of season, I would feel really good.
Yeah,
because again, you got rookie Derek Harmon, you got Cam, who's coming off arguably his best season in about 5 seasons, or give or take. And then if you could get a Keanu Benton that overachieves with the linebacking core that we got and the new secondary, this defense, Mike, they might just ring into the top 5. Again, you're paying them mad money. They should be a top defense anyway. But those are the things that it's going to take. And again, filling those holes, Mike, the little things from year to year, filling what caused you problems the year before. That's what the Steelers did. We're in a situation again where we should be better than we were last year. But that's why they play the game.
Yeah, like this D line potentially has to be one of the best D lines we have seen since we had Tuitt, Hayward, and Javon Hargrave, and that was a pretty dominant D line, and up until that Carolina or that Jacksonville playoff game, but they were a dominant line in the regular season, and that allowed everyone else to play around. They were so good that year.
You want me to tell you why I don't feel that?
Why?
Because for one, Cam's old, and I don't know how many years like last year we could expect to see from him. 2, if Keanu Benton doesn't overachieve, you kind of have average Keanu Benton in the middle of the defense. And then the 3, the guy's a rookie. So, I mean, one hand, it's a positive thing that Derek Harmon's here. But on the other side of the coin, Derek Harmon has never played a snap in the NFL.
That's true.
So this is why I'm a little shaky on the defensive line. That's where my concern lies. But again, you stay healthy, you keep your line healthy, you keep your depth healthy. That's what we're working with at this point. And again, I hope that it's better than it was. But again, I can see reasons for concern, but I could also see reasons to be excited about the defensive line. It just comes down to the play of the guys.
Yeah, it does. But I'm just seeing what they like on paper, like their potential is just, I think it has the potential to be one of the best lines that we've seen in a long time. Yeah.
John says Johnson must be able to block and protect the quarterback.
Yeah, and the running back coach, he was saying he has the want and willingness to block. And I
was going to ask, how's he block?
He's not the greatest at it technique wise, but on Iowa, the game film, it showed up like he was willing to put his body there, but he's not as good as you watch Jalen Warren has great technique, and I think that's what they're going to work a lot on with Johnson in training camp is his technique, because they said he has the want to go up in there and get those blocks to be an every down back. So I have a feeling he's going to work on it. I don't think he's going to be great right out the gate, but I can see him getting better as the year goes on at it. Because he's going to, if we want him to take over to be a true first, second, third down back, that's where he has to improve.
Well, I mean, he's obviously got time to work on that to that point. But real quick, Iowa Hawkeyes note. I just read this morning while I was trying to dig up a question for the trivia of the day. back in the 70s when I guess a new coach came in to coach Iowa, and they were talking about we want new uniforms. Well, apparently the guy asked him, well, what are you interested in? He says, I want mine to look like a team that wins. We need a winning atmosphere here in Iowa University. Let's make them look just like the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that is why the Pittsburgh Steelers Iowa uniforms are almost identical. Apparently, back in the day, they wanted a team to resemble a team that wins a lot.
Hey, well, what better team at that era?
Interesting. I just thought that was an interesting story. All right, let's get back to it. Mark Malone says Watt was injured. Man, they can't win without Watt power. Also, Tortilla Rogers played better as the year went on, too. We've proven we can still win with the shit quarterback. So if Rodgers can play, that's a good point. Look at that 1 second. So if Rodgers can play smart, I think we can win 12 games. We won a lot of games with bad quarterback situations over the past 5 years.
Yes, we did.
We managed to stay above 500 with all these quarterback situations that we dealt with. We managed to get into the playoffs a few times. We managed to do some things. So again, if you come in with a quarterback situation that's somewhat competent, Mike, I really feel that you have to feel you got to feel good about what's going on with Pittsburgh. You have to.
Yeah, you have to. You just have to hope that Aaron Rodgers can live up to his end of the bargain, and that's going to be the big thing on the offense. I think the O-line is going to be fine. It's going to be what Aaron Rodgers are we getting? Are we getting a last hurrah Aaron Rodgers who still has some left in the tank, or is he completely done? And that's just the big worry on the offense for me. What outside of O-line and wide receiver too, it all revolves around Aaron Rodgers. But if he can play like the way he did the end of last year, the way he started to move around, the way he did a few years ago, I'll be comfortable. We should get at least 11 to 12 wins with this team.
Kenneth says when you trust your back end, you can certainly blitz more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. So much should be better this year because of the players that we brought in. I mean, come on. John says I'm a realistic off-season fan. See, I always was. Now that I get more involved constantly, my brain kind of goes different directions because there's so much constantly going on in the NFL. I used to just kind of sit back and be, just be a realist about it. But now I kind of involve myself in the rumors and all this stuff. And by the time football season comes around, I don't know what the hell just happened. But guys, here you go. We're just 2 days away from the team showing up at camp. Mike kicking the camp off on Thursday. And again, an NFL game just 10 days from today. The Chargers and the Lions in Canton, Ohio. Just 10 days away.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see people hit each other.
Corey says if we can't run the ball with the maturing O-line and the tight ends, we have now it would clearly be an OC issue, and we need to make a switch before it's too late to save our season. Yinzer Joe, what's up, brother? Great seeing Yinzer Joe on the board. I know Yinzer Joe's getting ready. I know everybody is excited and can't wait to get the season started, guys. Just a couple days out from camp. I can't believe it's already here. Corey says, don't wait until week 9 or 10 to make the change where change is needed if you're all in now and trying to get the most out of the Rodgers era. And as I said from the beginning, Mike, I'm hoping it's one of these Rodgers send-off seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like a Ray Lewis or a Bussy or
Peyton Manning
or even Tom Brady for that matter. Guys, it would be great to see Aaron Rodgers get a send-off season. Go off in the sunset with his Super Bowl ring. It would be 7 for us. Come on. Everybody wins.
That charlatan that robbed us of number 7 is coming to Pittsburgh to redeem himself for his sins. He's leading us to Stairway to 7, baby.
Feel the steal, Corey. I don't like Matt Canada too. RB, what's up, man? Man, you could feel the season getting close, baby. All the big dogs are out on the board, man. I can't even believe it. RB says just got home from Virginia Beach. I don't need to see any more Austin as number 2. Having a 5'6" wide receiver of number 2 isn't going to work. His catch radius is shit, and his target window is rough. You know what? I think you said the quiet part out loud. A lot of people don't say that. A lot of people say, well, Tyreek Hill isn't that tall, and this guy was. But you know what? They were elite players in the league. Maybe it's time we say that part out loud. Calvin Austin, yeah, he's given us some good results, but he's no Tyreek Hill. And having a 5'2" wide receiver, or whatever the hell he is, I've always thought that. Can he be your number 2 receiver? I don't know. And that's why in the back of my mind, I just keep thinking to myself, man, I just wish we'd grab somebody. Just grab another body. Just grab Amari Cooper. Just grab Gabe Davis. Just grab one of these guys, please. So we don't have to worry about that. That doesn't have to be a concern. If it plays out where he ends up being a great receiver and he becomes a number 2 one day, that's fine. But again, we're kind of all in right now. We went out and we did a lot of work. We did a lot of work. Again, 10-3 last year, guys, before the slide against the Eagles, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Bengals. We had to get better to be able to get over that hump. I think we Mike, what else more can we possibly have done this offseason? I mean, seriously.
Not a whole hell of a lot more, because remember, it always takes 2 to tango. It's easy to say, go get this guy, go get that guy. If that guy don't want to come here, you can't make him come here. But, with the moves that we've made, the team becomes more and more enticing for free agents to want to come here. So we'll see. Training camp is around the corner. These guys still want to play. Amari Cooper still wants to play football. He still has.
And he wants to bounce back off of that terrible. Come on.
Going from the Browns to the Bills and just having a down year after he had so many 1,000-yard receiving seasons back to back.
Because he's due. I would love to have a due Amari Cooper on my team right now.
Exactly. And like I said earlier, people want to say he was a locker room cancer in Cleveland. He wasn't until the very end when that team gave up, and he was like, "Why am I busting my ass for this shitty organization?" And I don't blame him.
I don't know. Nobody could blame him for that. We
Cleveland.
all know Cleveland. Tortilla says, have a team ever flipped half their starters and received more picks in the same offseason? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, but God, whatever he's doing, please keep it up by all means.
Yeah.
Omar, geez, where's this guy been all of our lives? RB says, I don't care what they list him as. Either I've stood next to him and he's shorter than me and my wife. She's 5'7". Speaking of which, Finch, I failed to mention it on Friday when Finch was here. He got a picture right in his hometown, a couple blocks from his house in Beaver, where him and his wife and family are like just a few blocks away. Beanie Bishop. Somebody, I don't know if it was him or somebody snapped the picture. Beanie Bishop was in the Philly cheesesteak place, and he doesn't look like too big of a guy either.
No, he didn't. In that picture, he didn't, man. But hey, as long as he can hit and make some picks, I don't care. And Calvin Austin, he may be 5'2", 112 pounds, but my guy can take a hit across the middle.
You know what? I hope he keeps up. Again, the injury bug is what we want to avoid. So we will see, guys. Also, Yinzer Joe says, I'm thinking Tomlin was told by Rooney, your seat is hot, and Tomlin told Khan to do whatever possible to make his team competitive. He'll probably even let the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator do their job. Think about him, maybe not so many words, Yinzer Joe. Maybe didn't, maybe his job isn't on the line, but just maybe having a conversation, saying things certain ways and putting things, a little differently can certainly change that mentality. And hopefully something happened, of course. Whatever we've been doing just enough. Let's get a little bit better. Let's get a little bit better. Let's get a little bit better every year. Because as I pointed out to Mike early on in Bill Cowher's coaching career, which coincidentally, they wore these same uniforms that they just announced this morning that we'll be wearing as our alternatives. The 1993 Pittsburgh Crest uniforms will be the alternate uniform this year. But going back to what I was saying is, back in the early 90s, they took the loss to Buffalo. They took the loss to Kansas City. The next year was the third round. They lost to the Chargers in the 3-more-yard game. Then the next year they were in the Super Bowl. So when Cowher was in there, it always felt like there was a progression. And they always go into the offseason fixing what it was that was their shortcoming the year before. That's kind of what I've been getting from this GM and this team over the past 2 seasons at least. The way they were able to go out and bring in players at places that they just that were the soft spots on this team. That's what I'm seeing. It reminds me of the Cowher years. So let's see if the results turn out a little bit more like the Cowher years. People that go, that talk about the coaching, which I don't totally disagree with. Don't get me wrong, but I want to see maybe if that's what's going on here, get a little bit better this year, a little bit better this year. Got all these draft picks, of course. We should, in theory, be getting better next year, bringing in more players. So, if we're moving in the right direction, I'm cool with that. I would love an Aaron Rodgers send-off season, but if that's not likely, at least keep moving in the right direction, adding the pieces that you need that were your shortcoming the year before, and keep moving forward. And that's got to be a good thing to see if you're a Steeler fan, moving in the right direction. John says the media keeps the Steelers relevant. The NFL players don't think that they are. But you know what everybody else does in the whole world? Yeah, you're right. I'm not disagreeing, John. But even though the Steelers around the world don't, or I'm sorry, the players around the league don't, fans do. Fans everywhere. The media does in a weird kind of way. And again, even when the Steelers aren't doing great, I mean, the Steelers are certainly a top of conversation because they're not playing good. So if you're being talked about because you're not playing good, I guess you're still being talked about, right?
Still being talked about, and teams still know that, they have to be ready for you week in, week out. A team that hovers around or in the playoffs every year, still a relevant franchise.
And again, the Yankees, Mike, they won one World Series in the past 19 seasons.
Yeah.
You always consider them one of the better teams. They're always relevant, even if they're not winning World Series and championships and ALCSs and blah, 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 blah. We're in that category. We are that organization in football. I believe that entirely, actually. Aaron says we're going to the Super Bowl. I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. Whoa, that'd be great. Yinzer Joe says, although Austin has speed and his route running is awesome, he just doesn't have the size and weight to block, which would be a tell to the defense when he comes off the field that we're running. Good point. Kenneth follows that up by saying this year we can overcome injuries in many spots because many of our backups are starter quality. You know what, be it as it may, I would still love to have a year where we just avoid the injury bug.
Yeah.
And you're never going to be 100%. But at the end of the year, maybe just have one guy starter that might be missing, opposed to the brand new rookie. As of last year, Mike, Roman Wilson, who was a rookie, Fatana, who was a rookie, who was supposed to start. I mean, the list went on and on. I would just like to see that not come to fruition.
Yeah. Well, I partially blame you, brother, because every game we do our over-under, you do devastating injury. Ever since you started that, we started to get devastating injuries.
You know what? 4 years we've been doing this show, Mike, and I've done the devastating injury over-under, and we've had injury bug issues all 4 years. Maybe we're going to cut out the over-under this year.
You think?
We're cutting out the over-under.
You're the reason why.
I know. I'm the sole reason why.
You are. Not the medical staff, not the conditioning staff, not the players. You.
Let's see. Tortilla says, I don't mind Austin as the number 2 wide receiver, but if DK ever goes down, I don't like Austin as a number 1. Not at all. I've probably said that so many times. But you're right. The fact of the matter is, in football and pro football, it's snap to snap. Are we one snap away from Calvin Austin, the third, being our number 1 wide receiver? That's what I'm saying. We just have to go get a body. Even if it's, these guys that aren't on a team right now, go grab somebody. They'll play. Give them a little bit of cash. Maury Cooper, somebody. You can't be sitting in a position where Calvin Austin is one play away from being your number 1. You just can't. That's not going to get it done. Certainly not going to get it done. Yinzer Joe says, I certainly believe that the organization and the team is willing to change a lot of their ideas. We see them already bringing in players early, and I think that is very important. Change isn't always bad. And as I said earlier, guys, half of the team, 12 of 24, if you're counting special team players, are different starters on this team than they were last year at the beginning of the season. So we're certainly seeing it, man. If you're getting nervous, it means you're a lifelong Pittsburgh fan, because again, we have never seen that. People might be nervous. Oh, geez, what's going to happen? But guys, I think that if you bring in better talent, you're going to play better football, right?
In theory, yeah. In theory, yes.
Kenneth says, without Cam, I put Yaya Black in the middle, and Benton and Harmon on either side would still be a threat.
I just forget about Yaya Black.
I do too. Boy, do I. That's what I'm saying. I can't wait for this
see
preseason
him
to
now.
start.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about him, that big bastard.
I cannot wait for preseason to start. I have to see these guys, Mike. I have to get them etched in my brain, because again, how can I forget about this guy? This guy's a mountain.
It's huge. He's a big fucker. Jesus.
Tortilla says, I would have liked to keep Adams, but I heard DT we signed from the Patriots is a good run stuffer and takes a lot of double teams. Yeah, I'm hearing good things about him too. I don't know much about him, but I've probably heard all the same stuff that you have, Tortilla, and sounds good so far. Sticky B says, so is Mason the holder on PATs now? Seems like Boz has run through a few in recent seasons with the turnover and the QB. You know what? Who knows?
No, it's Waitman held last year, and I think Johnson will end up holding this year.
I mean, more than likely it's going to be the punter, but we don't know. We don't know that yet. It could be a backup quarterback, which a lot of times it is as well. We will see. Maybe give Mason give him something to do. Don't run out there and hold the ball, Mason. RB, let's see. He says, I get Ryan's point on the D line, but let's not forget the line is potentially 6-7 guys deep who can actually contribute for once in 20 years. We have depth at a position, functional depth. I hope, you know what I mean? We got the guy from New England. We're all like, well, you know what? We heard he's good. And we got how much more improved do you think the defensive line itself is over last year, Mike? I mean, by what we lost, what we gained, what's still there. I know stopping the run was it was a difficult task against Philadelphia, which it's always going to be a difficult task against Philadelphia. Against Baltimore, certainly in the playoffs, stopping the run was something that we certainly needed to focus on going into the offseason. Did the defensive line improve? Do you feel that much to where you're comfortable with going into those particular kind of games again?
I do a little bit here. I think Ukale, who we got from New England, he had his career year last year. I think that's a huge upgrade over Montravius Adams. And I think a lot of these guys are better than the backups we had. Hopefully, Loudermilk and Leal do not make the team this year.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, go handle that, man. I'll just go to the next comment here. Tortilla says if Cam Johnson is healthy, he can hold it. That's more than likely. It's going to be the punter. I think we've gone with the punter for the past few seasons. I am not sure. Sounds right? Tortilla also says if Mason is the holder, Danny Smith would cook on fake field goals. Who knows? Yinzers said if Mason is a holder. Yeah, I guess so. You wonder why. They don't do that more often, just to kind of keep that on the table, keep people on their heels, have the backup quarterback hold the ball more instead of the punter or whatever, because there's always that option now. The holder steps up and throws the ball. Joe, do you guys think that with the recent offensive acquisitions that they are turning more into a passing offense to set up the run? Possibly. I mean, that's the thing. At this point, everyone's just kind of waiting to see what this offense is. I'm still kind of curious on what the Arthur Smith offense really is. I know that this Arthur Smith offense did well in Tennessee whenever he had Derrick Henry back there. But again, they had Ryan Tannehill. So that makes me think, all right, well, he must be doing something good because, of course, Tannehill's who's leading the way. But then he goes to Atlanta and he has 3 losing seasons. And I'm saying, all right, what is this offense? What is this Arthur Smith offense? Last year, I'm not sure we've seen it in its entirety because it was kind of a mess last year. So, I think everybody's curious to see what this Arthur Smith offense is going to do, especially with all these new players. It's going to be interesting. It's certainly going to be interesting, guys. Yinzer Joe follows that up by saying, I think they're waiting on Gabe Davis to get healthy, show it to them before they sign him. It could be. At this point, please bring in one of these guys, whether it be Gabe, whether it be, like I said, even Tyler Boyd, who said he'd be, willing to play for the Steelers. He'd be happy to do it. At this point, don't go into the season without another receiver, I think, Mike. That's just where I'm at. I think that you're going to put yourself in a better position to win football games if you feel one more receiver on this offense.
Yeah. That's going to make the offense even more dynamic if you get a legit number 2 out there.
John says, I'm out. I got female chiropractor who wants to give me give daddy an adjustment. Hey, have fun, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Sticky B. Agree with Vanilla Thunder. Now that Watt is signed, I would think some of these free agents should be kicking Steelers' door down to join this team. I think, yeah, you would think, right?
You would think.
But maybe some of the people were starting to believe the rumors. Maybe some of the people were starting to believe what the Pittsburghers are saying. Maybe some of the people were starting to say, oh, maybe playing for Tomlin isn't the greatest thing ever. His teams aren't exactly doing great things. Who knows? I'd listen to them. If that's the case, I'd love it. Come on, start raking them in, man. The better the team, the better. And that's the thing, Mike. This is not the way they used to build teams our whole life. This is a
No.
whole new. This is new NFL to me, man. And I got to tell you, I'm loving it. I'm liking the new talent, and like I said, puts us in a better chance to win, Mike. I think if you go in with the same team you had last year, making very little moves, we're kind of going into the same kind of year. You're not real confident with what's going on. You're hoping for the best, and probably ending out similar to the way that it went last year.
Yeah.
So I like it. I like the constant improvements. I like that every year. Mark Malone says Calvin Austin III measured 5'7" 3/4 at the combine.
That 3/4 is huge, brother.
He's getting shorter every time somebody talks. Ryan Powers, welcome to the board, sir. Nice to see you. He says, how about them unis? I like them. They were also worn in 1993. They have the Pittsburgh crest up here, the city crest. And I got to be honest with you, I like them. The khaki pants, I'm not real big on the khakis, Mike, but I do like the jerseys.
Yeah. I like the jersey. I don't know. The pants are growing on me.
You know what? It reminds me of the year I think it was the year Barry Foster hit his 12 100-yard games, and it's always gonna be one of my favorite uniforms because I was 15. I was really into the Steelers. Yeah. I was, it was one of my favorite teams. Bill Cowher was just recently started the year before, so I do like these uniforms. A lot of people aren't going to, and again, it's been 32 years since anybody's seen them, so you're gonna have a lot of people saying, "Oh, they're ugly." They grow on you, man. Again, with the crest up here at the pit, it's a pretty sick uniform. I dig. Tortilla says that 3/4 of an inch will win us the Super Bowl.
Hell yeah.
You know what? Or it will lose us the Super Bowl. The ball just 3/4 or 1 inch further than your finger could reach or some shit. And that would be the talk. If Calvin Austin wasn't 4 feet tall, we would have won the Super Bowl. So hopefully it doesn't play against us. Feel the steel. Ryan, rub the beard, baby. That's right, man. We'll be rubbing the beard. We'll be rubbing Mike's vanilla head. Whatever we got to do to get ready, man. We got to win some football games this season. And again, camp, guys, just a couple days away, which means preseason games not too far away. NFL first preseason games is 10 days from right now, 10 days from today. The Chargers and Detroit. So, guys, it's here. Christopher says, I think I will see all you guys next week in Latrobe when the pads go on. Can't wait. Oh, it's going to be exciting. And we're going to have Derby down there at the end of next week. So we got a lot of things going on with that, Mike. And like I said, he's got to be live, able to take instruction while he's at camp. And we'll put him in some pretty crazy situations, believe me.
I hope so. I hope he pulls through for us.
Phyllis still says, John, Steeler Freak, is that female chiropractor Peaches?
Oh,
I don't know if you want Peaches giving you a massage. She only has 3 fingers on her left hand, so I'm not sure if that's her forte. But whatever, man. Ryan, shut up about the darn injuries. I know, I'm the worst. I am, Mike, with these injuries. You might
You are, dude.
You might just have to have me knocked off or something. Because if that happens, I don't know what I'm going to lose my mind if they get this injury bug again.
Dude, if we get players hurt in the preseason, I'm blaming you, dude.
And I remember you used to always say, whenever the Steelers were consistently good every year, I say, man, why do we never have the injury issues that these other teams have?
Yeah.
This is what I get.
Mm-hmm.
RB saying, I love hearing people bash Artie Smith like he's had a full control of his offense or even players to fit it. When your left tackle, quarterback, halfback don't fit your system in the slightest, it's going to be rough. Field of Steel says Sticky B and Peaches sound like a freaky couple together. Hey, Sticky B and Peaches. I like that. I like it. Sticky B says, clearly Field of Steel likes his Peaches sticky. Sticky P. Look at that. Tortilla says Sticky P. I dig, man. Field of Steel, I want a new scheme in our Men of Steel locker room. The standard is done. Tortilla says never say never, but never. Corey, I can't wait to see what the teams on these. I can't wait to see what the teams on the schedule look like. We keep speculating on the teams that may kick our ass, but those teams might regress so greatly that they become irrelevant.
And that's the thing about the NFL, man. From year to year, man, like with the parity, you never know who's going to take that step forward and who's going to stumble that next year.
Tortilla says, yeah, Mike Tomlin had a good record against rookie quarterbacks. I think the Vikings will be a closer game than most people think. But you got to remember as well, guys, we're facing seven times this season out of 17 top 7 quarterbacks. Between Burrow, between Lamar, between Allen, between Mike, whatever the count was we had last week, we're facing a lot of top quarterbacks this year. So,
Burrow twice,
maybe it's a good thing that we went out and really stacked up on that secondary.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yinzer Joe, I think Gabe Davis really wanted to stay in the building. He was even caught walking around with a Steeler t-shirt on. He's ready to move to Pittsburgh. Is that true?
I don't know. That would be, he does have a lot of drops, but before last year, he was averaging like 7 touchdowns a year, about 600 yards a year. I'd take that as a number 2 wide receiver, but it's those drops, man. You got that Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing with Gabe Davis. Like that, they lost games in the playoffs when he was in Buffalo against KC. Dropped it was like a 77-yard bomb that Josh Allen put right in the breadbasket, and he just dropped it, man. And they end up losing that game. And KC, I think, went on to win another Super Bowl. So Gabe Davis has the dropsies, and they're in big key moments too.
Joe says, was Peaches shooting off fireworks with nausea?
You don't want to know where those fireworks were being shot off from, brother.
Yeah.
Say it's from downtown.
And she is missing the fingers. So I think maybe that was the indicator there. Kenneth says insanity would be keeping Loudermilk and Liel, knowing they have been non-factors. Marvin Liel, he's another one who kind of pissed me off. I was hoping to see something from him. Something. RB says, I'm shocked people have any hope for Cincy. The thing is, they could score 100 points, but they let up 101. And it shouldn't be the case because you have an elite quarterback. He should be able to outscore his opponents with that team, with their receivers, with their quarterback. And that's what they have going for them. They're going to outscore some people, and that's what they have to do. I don't know. I mean, I know their draft pick. He's going back to college. He says, I don't want to play for his team. I'm going back to my college.
Right.
And joining the draft next year. So, I mean, that's how great things are going in Cincinnati. Again, I agree with you 100%, RB. But I think that that's what it's going to come down to. They're just going to outscore their opponents a lot of times for these wins, and there's not going to be much you could be able to do to stop it. So maybe it's going to come down to who has the ball last in a lot of those games,
And that was their game plan last year, and that seems to be their game plan this year. And just how much can that offensive line hold up? Because they don't have a great O-line either. So interesting strategy, Cotton.
Corey says, Who's your sleeper teams this year from each conference? I think the Panthers will win their division this year, and Young starts looking like a stud.
I'm going Chicago and Denver, even though Denver's really not a sleeper. But I like the move Chicago made with their offensive line. They still got some good skill position players. I like their defense. I'm going to go with Chicago and the Broncos.
I'm going with the Chargers in the AFC. I think they have a good team. I think they have a good coach. I think they made good picks this offseason. They brought in, they drafted Hampton. They brought in Harris. They got a nice stud quarterback, young kid, and Herbert. The team from the AFC that's going to be surprising some people this year, I think, is going to be the Chargers. And last year, they let up the least amount of points in the whole league. So that defense has something to say about it. They'll certainly be a good team. In the NFC, nobody's jumping out at me.
You wouldn't say the Cowboys.
No, I don't at all. I don't know if I have a sleeper team in the NFC. And maybe Mayfield could get back into the playoffs and win a couple games for Tampa Bay, possibly. But you know what? This league has just been so top heavy lately. If it's not the Eagles, it's Kansas City. If it's not Kansas City, it's the Patriots. So, until somebody can come in and kind of make it a little bit more inconsistent, it's going to be hard to say because it's all about the Chiefs. It's all about the Eagles. And as we did with the Patriots for 2 decades, it gets old for the rest of us. So hopefully hopefully somebody could be that team. Maybe, just maybe it could be us guys. We will see. RB says Donald Trump just announced he will hold up on funds for Washington's new stadium unless they go back to the Redskins. Via a petition from the tribe, the team was named after and designed the logo. That's interesting. I think it's really interesting, actually. I like the Redskins. I'm a fan, but again, that's all I knew my whole life. So Corey says, I also think the Raiders can bump Denver out of contention to make the wild card this year. The Raiders are an interesting team. They got a new coach. They got a new thing going on down there.
Dude, that AFC West is now a very competitive division. I like what every team out there did. It's gonna be interesting. I think KC wins it, but I think it's gonna be a whole hell of a lot closer than in years past.
Denver's got a nice team. Bo Nix and Denver could bring it. It should be start to get back to those times whenever they lose a team against or lose a couple games against some of them division teams. The way that New England would lose to the Jets every once in a while, the way they would lose to Buffalo when they stunk, the way they lose to Miami. You got to see some more AFC West teams beating Kansas City Chiefs, where that wasn't the case. Kansas City just finds a way to grind out wins week after week after week after week. You got to see some of them teams finding ways to beat KC at some point. Yeah. If the rest of the league stands a chance,
and and the Raiders too, man. They have a nice little squad there. I wish
the Chargers. Come on,
I wish Raiders had some better wide receivers to sprinkle around. Brock Bowers, their tight end, and Aston Genty at running back. But their defense is good. Geno Smith is a very accurate quarterback. Takes what the teams give him. So the Raiders have given KC the fits, in a couple games here and there throughout the years recently. So it's going to be a very, very competitive division.
Yeah, AFC West, man, they're really coming along. All those teams are making improvements every season and getting a little bit better. So, when it's this point, it's all about bringing down the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's move on. Yinzer Joe says, are we allowed to send letters to Stephon Tuitt begging him to return to the Steelers? I still believe he'd be a dominant force on that D-line. Man, boy, do we got – that stinks. That stinks. The way the things went, man, because I would have loved to see
because we just let Hargraves go because we couldn't keep him or Tuitt, either or, and because you had him and Cam on the outside, then we got Alu in. Then what happened with Stephon's brother, just kind of ruined the whole thing there.
It's like all them guys just disappeared all of a sudden.
Yeah, that set the defense back a lot. You compound that with the loss of Shazier, and then that is God damn.
Shazier. Oh, the whole that's crazy.
Yeah, Tuitt, he is the forgotten man, but I think he could have been a better player than the way Cam Hayward's talked about. I think Stephon Tuitt was on a trajectory where he would have been one of the dominant D linemen of his era. Not as good as Aaron Donald, but he would be making plays left and right.
Alave or Greg Jennings is what Christopher is saying. Like I said, brother, at this point, just give me somebody. Give us something. Don't go forward with what we have now.
I'm calling it right now. Roman Wilson is your outside starting receiver this year.
I mean, if it works and it's beneficial and productive, I love it. But going in, finishing up the moves on this team, you don't want to be trying to go into next season saying, man, let's make sure we get a wide receiver too, because things would have been better if we would have had a wide receiver too. Yeah. Well, we know the year before last that we needed a wide receiver too. They they pissed around, didn't get Brandon Ayuk. Again, that's a bullet we did dodge. Don't get me wrong. However, you bring in Mike Williams, very little production out of him, a couple big plays early, but that was it. And then again, this year we're going in kind of in the same situation. We don't have that wide receiver too. You don't want to be going into next season saying, all right, let's get the number 2 wide receiver, because that's going to make us a better team and possibly get us further than we want to. We know this. We know it now. We got extra money. We saved money by giving Watt the big contract. Get somebody. By all means, please.
I'm thinking they're going to go at least 2 weeks into training camp, see what Roman Wilson has on the outside. Then if they don't like what they see, to where okay, he's not going to be a starter, but he can be a part of the equation, then I see them going out and looking at Cooper, looking at Gabe Davis, looking at the bloated receiver room up in Green Bay, trying to get someone from there to come in and be the number 2 receiver. But if Roman Wilson's looking good, I can see them going, okay, hey, we're going to roll with this guy on the outside. Calvin Austin mixing in wherever we can use him. Robert Woods in the slot and going that route.
Joe says, I love Alave. Jennings is slow, but a great blocker. I don't think he'd make a good number one like Alave would. Corey Beaver says the AFC West is looking like it's going to make a case to be the next AFC North.
Ooh.
And Field of Steel says, I got a feeling tonight's going up. Mike, why don't you tell us about your feeling about the website?
The Two Dumb Yinzers, brothers. Check it out. Over there, we got all of our social medias for Ryan and I. We got our merch store over there where you can get the ever popular Listen shirt. Listen. And we got the Dumb Thoughts over there. The Two Dumb Yinzers. I had one up there last week about 15 trades that shaped the Steelers organization. So check it out, brothers, at thetwodumbYinzers.com. And remember, listen.
That's right, baby. Listen, check it out. It's a sharp shirt, I got to say. Go check out www.thetwodumbYinzers.com. That's www.thetwodumbYinzers.com. Mike, let me knock out a few of these pirate notes, and then we're going to get into the trivia of the day. It's a Steeler trivia. It's a pretty good one, actually. Stick around, guys. I'm going to fly through the Pirates news because it's embarrassing. That's why. Pittsburgh Pirates come back from the All-Star break, guys. They get the worst team in the American League, and they get swept. That's right. The Pirates get swept and outscored 27-7 against the Chicago White Sox in this return game back to the second half of the season after the All-Star weekend, after the Midsummer Classic. They get swept again by the score of 27-7. They're back at it today, starting a series at home against the Detroit Tigers. Pirates coming in with a 39-61 record. Game 1 of 3 is today at 6:40. It was, Mike, only the third sellout of the year over the weekend on Mac Miller bobblehead night. Of course, the Pirates throw this Yinzer Palooza. Everything's supposed to be fun, supposed to be celebratory. Pirates get murdered. They lose 27-7 in 3 games. And here's another thing. People were standing in line for so long. Mike, it went the whole way across Roberto Clemente Bridge. It was so popular. Again, this was only the third game they sold out all year. It was on Mac Miller bobblehead night. People were passing out, fainting. 3 different people that I heard was reported that fainted while waiting in line to get their Mac Miller bobblehead doll. Mike, this is the third time. Opening day was the first time where they sold out and had 36,893. Skeen's bobblehead night was the second, 37,713 fans. Last night, the most fans all season, not because of the Pirates or over the weekend, but it was because of Mac Miller bobblehead night. Mike putting 38,041 people in the seats. The Pirates run out of Mac Miller bobbleheads. People were pissed. But the people that got there and got their Mac Miller bobblehead was excited, Mike. That's what the Pirates are about. They're about giveaways, promotions, bobbleheads, and fireworks. And there it is again, Mike. Only the third sellout of the season. The entire sellout was on Mac Miller bobblehead night.
Speaking of selling, sell the team, Bob.
Sell the team was the chant.
Sell the team.
Over the weekend, Mike, the sellout crowd chanting, sell the team, Bob. There is rumors swirling around that Ben Cherington is on the hot seat as of early as of today. People were expecting that he could possibly get canned today. Who knows? Obviously, firing the coach wasn't the problem. He's the scapegoat. As always, the team is just as terrible as it always is. Again, Ben Cherington could be gone as early as this week. Hopefully that's what happens. But you know what? The fans are right. The sold out PNC Park chanting, "Sell the team." It's the top of their lungs. I think is probably the best case scenario. We will see all 3 of the all sold out games that I just mentioned. All featured the fans chanting, "Sell the team." The Pittsburgh Pirates fell under 500 in its entirety for the first time over the weekend since 1903. The Pirates were such a good franchise. After winning their 5th World Series in the 70s, it took them all the way till this year to finally get caught up and fell under 500 for the first time since 1903, Mike.
Brother. This is sad state of affairs over PNC Park. I used to be a huge Pirate fan. I loved the Buccos, even when they were bad. Those Jason Kendall's welcome to hell years, telling young Jack Wilson, welcome to hell, don't have any fun around this shithole. I miss those teams because this stuff that we have on here is just pathetic. You got arguably the greatest pitcher of all time, and you're not building around them. Get the fuck out of here, Bob.
Check this out, Mike. A couple questionable moves, and then I'm going to finish up with this Pirates nonsense. A couple questionable moves on the GM's part, as Quinn Priester has a lower ERA than Mitch Keller, who's basically the ace. I mean, all the way until Paul Skeens came. In the other move, or the other one that's kind of very unimpressive if you're a Pirates fan, Michael A. Taylor has a higher OPS than Brian Reynolds.
Michael A. Taylor, when he was here, couldn't do diddly poo.
He did nothing.
When he was here, couldn't do diddly poo. Looking like a complete bust. Went from another team, then goes over to Milwaukee. Milwaukee have a great pitching coach because they've reclaimed so many failed.
Mike, Brian Reynolds, big stacks,
mm-hmm.
has a lower OPS than Michael A. Taylor. Again, you saw Michael A. Taylor the same way I did last year. All right, guys, let's get into the trivia question of the day. This is a Pittsburgh Steelers trivia, guys. Mike, put on your thinking cap. Everybody at home, everybody on the board. Here we go. Since 1970, how many times has the Steelers finished with 10 or more losses in a season? Since 1970, how many times has the Steelers finished with 10 or more losses in a season? Take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day right here on YouTube. Think that over for just a moment. Like, I'm going to grab a couple of these messages on the board, and then we will get back to your answer. Guys on the board, don't hesitate to throw your answer up either. Since 1970, how many times has the Steelers finished with a record with 10 or more losses? I'm going to start right here with a couple of these messages. Joe says, Mike, I don't think the Steelers are waiting around anymore. They're going to fill holes before the start of the preseason. I hope you're right.
I hope so, brother, because if they like filling holes the way I like filling holes, those holes will be filled.
Tortilla says, what if Roman just sucks and was only good because Michigan cheat? You know what? That's
Big Ten does not cheat, brother. Big Ten, we do not.
No, they just rape kids. But anyway, that's a whole other story.
Hey, man, that ain't. Damn it, I almost said that ain't cheating.
But you know what, Tortilla? That's a great point. That's a great point. What if Roman Wilson just isn't the guy? We don't know. We're hoping. And then Phyllis still says, Ryan, not the Black Eyed Peas. It's got a feeling. I got you. Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl.
Here we go. Steelers.
70s Super Bowl champ. And then Tortilla, he's guessing 16. So, guys, the question of the day is this. Since 1970, how many times has the Steelers finished with 10 or more losses in a season? Tortilla saying 16 on the board. Don't hesitate if you have an answer or a guess, throw it up on the board as well. Mike, where are you thinking? Where's your thought process on this trivia question?
I know everyone's hated head coach Mike Tomlin has 0. Everyone's favorite head coach Bill Cowher got 2 of them.
I think everybody's head favorite was Chuck Noll.
Yeah, mine too. The great Chuck Noll. Oh God. Now, how many did Noll have? He inherited a bad team, but I know they flipped it around. That first year was bad because we won the coin flip to get Terry 70. There's 1. Oh, God. I'm going to say 5.
Mike, Vanilla Thunder says 5, and Phil still says he says that you're Googling over there.
Phil, I did not Google anything today, brother. I don't know what Google.
Hey, these guys on the board, they got their eyes on you.
Vanilla Puddin', a.k.a. Mike, a.k.a. Big Sexy. He's a Google.
You know how you can see people's faces when they're looking at their phone or they're looking at their typing. These guys got a close eye on you.
Brother, I still got a flip phone that has no internet connection.
So you be careful. You be careful there. I know these guys are watching you.
They are too, and they're
Tortilla says 16. Yinzer Joe says 2 seasons, 88 and 99. Phil is still saying 2. The Dumpster Chickens, welcome to the show. Welcome to the board. Dumpster Chickens says once, I think 6 and 10, maybe an 83. Yinzer Joe says might be 3. He says I hated growing up in the 80s. Yeah, you ain't kidding. That was rough for Steeler fans, man.
Well, and then rough time, brother.
Phil still says vanilla chill vanilla. Cowher got us to plenty playoff wins in the AFC. You two, we're not going to start that right now.
Let's see, Phil. Vanilla Thunder loves the chin.
All right, so here we go, Mike. We got a whole bunch of different answers, and you're saying 5. 5 is your 5.
Yeah, 5
is your final answer. All right, guys. Question of the day is this: since 1970, how many times has the Steelers finished a season with 10 or more losses? Mike says 5. Let me lock him in. I got him locked in. A lot of different answers, guys. Since 1970, what is that? 55 years. How many times has the Steelers finished with 10 or more losses? The answer, of course, is they did it in 1988 when they finished 5-11, and they did it in 2003, which they were 6-10. The Pittsburgh Steelers have lost 10 or more games twice, 2 times since 1970. So there you go. Again, greater. This team's not relevant, Mike. You mean to tell me people are saying that this team is never relevant? This team is always relevant. If you go 2 seasons out of 55. Go ahead, Google it, Mike.
That's no.
Just go ahead. Yeah, because you always doubt. So go ahead and
I just
tell everybody I'm right.
Yeah, 2003 and 99. I thought, yeah, you're right. Yeah, the 7 and 9s got me for someone. No, we had one in 88. We were 5-11.
Yeah, that's what I said. 88 and 2003.
In 1999, we were 6-10.
Why isn't that on them? I think.
Yeah, 1999, 6-10. 2003, 6-10. Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, 86, 6-10. 88.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. 80. No, hold on. I'm Googling it right now. Hey, everybody on the board, do me a favor. Just do me a favor and type in how many 10 game. I don't know. Why is this effed up, Mike? Why is this effed up?
Yeah, Pro Football Reference is showing us.
How many times have the Steelers finished with 10 or more losses in a season? Search. Answers. Now it says 3. Now it's saying 88, 99, and 2003 is what I'm seeing. And Dumpster Chicken saying it's in 86 to come up 6 and 10. I don't know. If somebody could find the right answer, it'd be great.
Here, let me share the screen over here,
please.
Brother.
Put up every record from 1970 to now, please. Before I lose my mind. Now enlarge it so we can see it.
Yeah, I'm getting there, brother. I'm getting there.
I don't know because you won't, and then if I don't,
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
All right, why are you yelling? All right, let's look.
Because we're all fired up over here, but
I'm not fired up. So let's look. 1970.
We're 5 and 9.
Yeah, I see. Let's see. So the first team right there, 1986, they were 6 and 10.
Yeah.
88, 5 and 11.
Yep.
So that's 2. 99, 6 and 10. And 2003. So 4.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, Mike guessed 5. Yeah, Mike didn't Google nothing.
No, because I was going.
Mike is literally the only person that said that many, and
because brothers, I was doing research last.
Well, you were wrong anyway. So anyway,
we had our debate with me and Phil.
Anyway, you slice it, you were wrong. 4 apparently. See, now what's funny is whenever I originally pulled it up, Mike, the answer was 2. Now when I pulled it up, it's saying 3, and the list you pulled up says 4. So I don't know. Do what you want with that.
The AI is a little behind. The AI is on some vanilla.
That's what I'm saying. When you start depending on AIs, when it really screws you.
That's when it screws you, brother.
And it always seems like, oh man, this thing knows so much. And then you do something like this, and you pull up an answer, and then you find out it's wrong.
Yeah.
So Phil is still saying 4. I guess it's 4, guys. Correct answer is 4. Did anybody land on 4 with their final answer?
No, I was.
So we just argued that for no reason at all,
right? Well, hey, we got it right here at the Two Dumb Yinzers. We may be dumb, but we want to give you factual information.
Let's see. Dumpster Chicken says, "Oh wait, 70s." Aaron, only 7 losing seasons in my 52 years of life, but 10 losses. I don't know. Phil still says, but Vanilla threw a little bone at Kara in there. Yeah, Phil. So I think Phil's it, or 4 is it? I think that's I think that's
4. That's all I counted, brother.
I think that's it. But I don't know. What the hell do I know?
4, the amount of alimony payments I got to them lot lizards.
Phil still says Vanilla is my new ping pong buddy. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's right. Because you used to always play ping pong with Brian on the board there. Yeah, Mike, how's your ping pong life going?
I don't play ping pong. I
Mike
don't
yells.
play
Why are you
table.
yelling? Why are you yelling? My God,
I'm sorry, I'm fired up, brother.
You overmodulate. My ears crack and I can't hear. And
I'm
geez,
sorry.
oh man.
Vanilla Thunder's fired up, man. He
Tortilla
loves
says 4 L's times 4 dumb Yinzers equals 16. That's right, baby.
Hell yeah, that math, brother.
Hey, look at also want to say good afternoon to Vegas. Vegas TJ, what's up? He says, what's good, fellas? Always great seeing TJ on the board. Vegas, we were just 2 days till the guys show up at camp in Latrobe. Just 3 days until the training camp starts. Just 10 days from the first preseason game. So yeah, we're fired up, man. We just announced the new uniforms today. They got the crest uniforms from 1993. I personally am excited to see those back. And the Dumpster Chicken says quarterbacks Malone, Brister, Tom, Zach, and Maddox were those quarterbacks on those 4 teams. So there you go.
Who of champions right there.
And you know what? That Tom Zach, he was a backup quarterback on the Super Bowl champion Bears. A lot of people forget that.
I like Tom Zach as a backup quarterback here. I thought he did good as a backup, not as a starter.
Really? Yeah, for sure.
And he seemed like a good cat too. I like Tom.
Vegas says the ping pong championship was just in Vegas. Get out.
I wonder. Hey, Phil, I wonder if our buddy was there.
One more thing about the Pirates, Mike. I know that I always tell you not to go because I think it's the best thing for the Pirates if you don't go. On the 26th, there's a Peanuts themed drone show. So if you do make your way downtown to see the Pirates on the 26th against Arizona, a Peanuts themed drone show. I think that would be cool.
I might break my vow of never spending
that little Woodstock there. And the whole.
Oh hell, you give me Snoopy and Woodstock, I'm a happy camper. Pigpen, hell yeah, brother.
Vegas still says Vegas TJ Vanilla was there. He just won't admit it. That's right. I didn't see you over the weekend. Maybe you were in Vegas.
No, that's that other guy who's no longer around in Vanilla Pudding or your ping pong guys. Vanilla Thunder.
Speaking of Vegas, John is getting his
he's getting his ping pong paddled.
What do they call that? His happy ending at the chiropractor.
Allegedly, brother. Allegedly.
Vegas also says, table tennis. We regular folk do not play table tennis. The pros are amazing. Aaron says, are you sure it wasn't Cliff Stout and Kent Grant?
Oh, those are some other great quarterbacks there, brother. What about Jim Miller? I play a half of football.
Jim Miller, who won the quarterback controversy, no less, in 1996. He beat out Cordell and Mike Tomczak and got the start. Didn't even make it a whole game against Jacksonville.
Made it a half.
Vegas says Vanilla never made it out of his room at the Bellagio, I'm sorry. He had the Vegas flu.
Brother, I'm just happy you think I could afford the Bellagio right. With all these alimony and child support payments, brother. We're talking like the Flamingo.
Mike, another side note in sports before we do start getting ready to wrap things up. The WNBA ladies, now I'm not talking about them as a sport. I'm talking about them because they're pathetic. They now are wearing shirts that say, pay us what you owe us. Pay us what you owe us is what they're saying in the WNBA. They believe they should be paid a lot more money. However, the WNBA loses $50 million every year and never has generated a profit. So be careful what you ask for because your paycheck might actually get cut if you tell them to pay what they owe you.
Hey, brother, I'm for them. It's not their fault that the owners are cheapskates and can't run a business. They're still profiting off them. So pay them a fair percentage.
30 years, this league's never made a profit, guys. Many people have came and gone. Again, this league it just sucks. I feel bad for the women because I think that the women athletes are exceptional, and I would love to see and support them more. But I said last week, until they fix that, it's a garbage league right now, and until they make it look like a real league to some capacity, I will not watch the WNBA. We're done with them.
To quote Mario Lemieux, it's a garage league.
Mike, and also Yinzer Palooza over the weekend. If you made it downtown, I'm sure there was a lot of fun things to do. And even get your Mac Miller bobblehead. But as I said, people passed out as the bridge went clear downtown. The line clear downtown over the Roberto Clemente Bridge. Mike, you wouldn't believe it. People were passing out in the heat, and some people still didn't even get their Mac Miller bobblehead. Pirates get killed 27-7 in the 3 games as they get swept by the Chicago White Sox, the worst team in the American League. Wiz Khalifa in town over the weekend, Mike. I heard this was a great show. Of course, Wiz Khalifa from right here coming home.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people had nothing but great things to say about that show, which I imagine could be a lot of fun. A couple of side notes here about Pittsburgh, real quick, Mike, and then we are going to wrap it up. Pittsburgh has over 700 sets of public steps. That is more than any other city in the United States of America.
So we got the steps and the bridges.
Yeah,
Fuck
and yet
yeah,
all those steps, and yet Russell Wilson gets hurt on the sled.
pulling the sled.
Doesn't they make the guy run steps or something? Come on, it's a quarterback pushing sleds for it. Let's see. Let me get a couple of these messages and we will wrap things up, guys. Right here, I'm going to go. Dumpster Chicken says we go 6-10 and 03, 15 and 1 04. Little swing. That's what I'm saying. Look at the difference a franchise quarterback can make on your team. Phil Steele. He says, cheers, fellas. Update on the new Yinzer. You know what? We're still sorting all that out. I think tomorrow we'll get more into it here on the show and give you an idea what's going on. But we are working on that. Thank you. We do thank everybody and appreciate everybody for their participation. Vegas TJ says WNBA gets 9% of the revenue. Toward T, I'm pretty sure the WNBA owes me money too. Yeah, they owe us money. Come on, they owe us money. Don't say to pay you what you're worth or what are they saying? Pay us what you owe us. Again, be careful what you ask for. The NBA is paying alimony, Vegas says. Yinzer Joe says the women's league can't generate revenue that the men's do. This is why they can't compete with men's wages. Field of Steel says the Dumpster Chickens. That's when 43 took the field and brought the boom. No. Vegas says Mac Miller, the rapper that died of a drug overdose, had a ball. Yeah, he believe me, he's a big thing here in Pittsburgh, man. People love Mac Miller. It was not only Mac Miller bobblehead night, it was also Mac Miller t-shirt night, which they ran out of as well. And finally, Yinzer Joe will wrap it up with this message here. Last two. Yinzer Joe says, when is sled day in Pittsburgh? I don't want to miss Rogers pushing the sled.
Hell yeah, man. Put that, stream that.
Oh, God
live.
forbid. They better not. They better not. That's all I got to say. And finally, Aaron says, in the potholes. Of course, just as popular as Mac Miller here in Pittsburgh is the potholes. Mike, I'm going to wrap things up, brother. You got anything before we get ready to roll for today, sir?
I got nothing, brother, other than the little vanilla wants his McDonald's.
All right, sounds good. We know little man will be getting his lunch here. I do want to say thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We wouldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. I also want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys are always, always awesome. You keep things interesting on the show all the time. I always say you guys are just important to the show as we are. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much as well. And everybody at home, maybe you're in the car, maybe you're in the gym, maybe you're at work, or even at home watching on your big screen TV, wherever you may be, we do want to thank you as well. Everybody, we appreciate you. Catch Vegas here real quick. We celebrate drug addicts now. That's not a good look. You know what? Mac Miller was just such a big thing, and maybe we'll talk more about that tomorrow, but people do love Mac Miller here. There's no two ways about it. Thank you, Yinzer Joe. I do believe that's going to be everything. Again, the Pirates, they do open up a series at home today against the Detroit Tigers. I'm sure that'll end up being a disaster, just like the Chicago White Sox series went. And again, just 2 days away, everyone starts showing up in St. Vincent Latrobe on Wednesday to get camp started on Thursday. Again, just 10 days, guys, 10 days away from a preseason game between the Lions and the Chargers in Canton. So we're almost there. We are on the doorstep. We are as close to the doorstep as we can possibly be. Just walking through the door right now. It's going to be here before we know it. Vegas says, everyone have a good day. Spicy Egg McMuffins are new. That does sound good. Spicy Egg McMuffins. But maybe I'll check that out. Mike, anything else? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Have a good day, everyone. Hell yeah, brothers.
All right, I do want to say, if you haven't had a chance yet, go over check out our social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, otherwise known as the Instagram, and Threads. We are everywhere. Stop by, hit the like button, hit the follow button, all that kind of fun stuff. And if you haven't, hit the like button below and share today's show. It helps us out a lot. Besides for that, I think that's it. Everybody, we will be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again and just be one step closer to Pittsburgh Steelers football season. That's right, everybody. Pittsburgh Steelers football season. Aaron, you too, my man. Feel the steel. Everybody on the board, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Have a great, safe Monday. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see everybody then. Have a great day. For Mike in the Steeler Central Mobile Studio, for myself, the Two Dumb Yinzers, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great one.